Hi, I'm Mandkhai Saikan. I'm the founder and creative director of Mandkhai. I wanted to start my own brand because I come from a manufacturing background and I just felt like I had something to offer. After graduating in London, I studied fashion design and marketing. I didn't immediately set up my business. I first went on and learned a bit of accounting and stuff like that because I felt like I needed to know the business side of things. And then after that, I immediately set up my business, and it's been quite a roller coaster. I come from a manufacturing background. We have a family business in Mongolia. We are one of the biggest cashmere manufacturers there. So I always knew I would have a role within the company. I just didn't know that it would be in fashion design. I started Mandkhai because I felt like there's a gap in the market for contemporary, interesting cashmere knitwear. Everything I saw was very basic, very classic, and I just felt like I had something to offer, something exciting to offer. I think sustainability should be part of a business now, and I think that especially where we're headed, consumers are a lot more aware of what they buy and what they consume. And I think, the younger brands, it's their responsibility to incorporate sustainability within their business structure. In my case, cashmere production in itself is sustainable because the fiber that comes from the goats, the way you get them is sustainable. You don't kill the animals. And with my product, it's all Mongolian cashmere, which means, a lot of people don't know this, but Mongolian goats are free roaming goats. They live in balance with the nomads, and therefore it's not farmed animals. There's no big farm where they're breeding the goats. It's all natural, and the goats are free. They eat whatever they're supposed to eat. Hence, the quality of the material is different as well. So in my case, sustainability already starts at that level. And then, of course, the fact that everything is produced in one factory as well, which I think, is important as well for me anyways, because it decreases the footprint. And everything is, sourced in Mongolia, and everything is made there. So I think that's what, sets apart my brand as well. I don't think sustainable fashion has to be boring. It's a new way of thinking, and like I said, it should be a part of every brand now because that's where everything is headed. I personally think it doesn't have to be boring at all. Consumers will just have to do a little bit more research and actually find independent designers and other brands that are doing really cool things but are also sustainable. That's my thought on that. I think that first of all, do your research. Like I said, there's a lot of really cool new brands. You may have to do a little bit of digging, but now with the internet, you can find anything. And second of all, I think, shop less fast fashion, a throwaway fashion, and, buy less but more quality products and products that are more sustainable. So at the factory, we have two divisions, so a processing factory and a knitting factory. Our USP at the factory is that we do everything ourselves, so we control the entire supply chain, which means we literally buy the raw material and then get a finished product. So we control every single process within that. What that means is that we actually, dye our own colors, spin our own yarn, and that means we can do a lot of different compositions. So currently we do cashmere predominantly, but then also we do cashmere wool blends, cashmere silk blends. We recently started producing yak wool, which is actually, I find it quite exciting. And we also do a little bit of camel hair as well. Yes, we have camels in Mongolia, and they have tubers. The factory has been running for well over 20 years now, And I am not sure. I probably will at some point, but right now I'm, building my brand, and I'm always in the background working for the factory. So I kind of am, but not really, so I don't know, we'll see. I go back to the factory twice a year, but I will go more if I have to. And the time that I'm there, I'm currently producing my next collection, and then I'm also overseeing my orders, but then I'm also, working on my consultancy bit. So what I do is I actually work with other brands and other designers on private label. So I will help them, do their sampling, and then if need be production later on, but then in the beginning stages I can just consult them and help them with what they need in terms of knitwear. From a manufacturer's point of view, we worked with a lot of big brands, and what tends to happen is that they all want cheap, and it tends to, I feel like, exploit in a way the manufacturers, and not really value their craftsmanship and their hard work. And I think it should be, the industry should move towards more transparency and actually really be proud of the factories that they work with, and really show the end consumers where it's made and how it's made, and talk about their relationship and their collaboration, instead of really hiding it because it's not really good condition factory, and then they're getting it for a really cheap price, and it's all about profit. I don't think that model would work in the future, because I think, like I said, consumers are becoming a lot smarter and a lot more selective in terms of what they buy. And also, end consumers have the power. If they're not buying, then there's no making, right? So what I want to say with that is, the whole transparency thing, brands really need to educate the consumers and actually tell them their story and tell them why they're making that product, where it's made, and that's all going to help the consumers to make right decisions. And hence, I'm hoping, there's going to be change in the industry. Because I go to the factory in Mongolia twice a year, where I spend at least a month, I like to go through a lot of the archive and find pieces that the factory has worked on years ago in the 80s and 90s, and that actually gives me a lot of inspiration and ideas. So I'm quite hands-on with my design process. I like to see different patterns and feel and touch. So that's one part. But then of course I get inspired by art, film, cities, traveling, anything really that I've done for that year, and I just kind of have all different ideas that I collect, and then I decide what works best for whatever coming season. And I don't think sustainability really affects the way I design. That's probably because really the foundation of my brand and the foundation of the manufacturing is sustainable in itself. So it's not really something that I have to think about. But however, I do think that I will have to think about in terms of, for example, my packaging, make that more sustainable and actually extend that. When I design my pieces, I really, I like to say that I want to dress the grandmother, the mother, and the daughter, because I think, I like timeless, genderless elegance. So therefore, you'll see a lot of my pieces are slouchy, one size, there's a generous amount of material, and I just, that's what I find attractive. What I like with my pieces is that you can borrow your mom's piece or your grandmother's piece, and it'll equally look great on you, because I really work hard on the fit, and I make sure that it fits a lot of different types of bodies and a lot of different types of heights, because I think that really makes the garment. And also I just like how my pieces blend into the wearer's wardrobes and the way they mix it with their other clothes, and it just becomes theirs, because it's not a loud piece, but at the same time it has that timeless elegance. you. So actually, when I first started the brand, I was not, I couldn't decide what to call it because everybody actually was saying, oh, people can't pronounce Mandkhai, it's a long name, they're going to throw people off, nobody's going to remember it. But I actually went against that, and I did decide to stick with my name because I figured if people can pronounce Louis Vuitton, they can pronounce Mandkhai, right? So, and I like the meaning. It means to rise above, and I actually quite like that meaning. So just stick with that. So with my collections, what you notice is that there's a common thread. I don't design a collection for that season and then I start something entirely new for next season, because that's not how I work, and that's not how, you know, there's a lot of effort that goes into creating every single piece, and I want to continue that. So I don't really design that way. It's, you know, there's injections of themes that go into the collections, and it may go on for 2 collections, 3 collections, and then it may change. But it's, you know, it's more fluid, and that's how I like to work. And also a lot of the times, you know, my customers and my clients will come back and say, oh, I really like that piece from, you know, autumn 17, or spring summer 17, whatever, and but then they can still find that piece in the new collection, but in different variations. And also, you know, I just find that's more, it's also more of a sustainable way to do things, I feel like. I love my coats. I really do. They are great. They're massive, they're heavy, they're proper cashmere coats. You get a lot of material with it, and it's, you know, I just love them, and I don't see anything like it on the market. And you know, hopefully my customers will like it, but I know they will. You know, it's a style that keeps, you know, coming back in different variations because it's well loved. I'm so glad that Gigi Hadid loved the coat. I mean, she wore it 3 times in like 2 weeks span, so it's amazing. Who else would I see wearing my pieces? I love really strong women, and I would love to, there's a bunch of people actually, but it's like if I had to think, it would be Meryl Streep, because I love her, Kate Blanchett, Nicole Kidman. I know they're all like really strong characters. But then I also would love to see Rihanna, because it's just, I mean, who doesn't love Rihanna? I would say, don't be afraid to ask questions. No matter what you think to yourself, you may think, I'm gonna look stupid, or people are gonna think I don't know. Doesn't matter, because just ask the questions. It's gonna help you out in the long run, and get used to that. Second, stick to your guns. You know, don't be afraid to say no, and probably be courageous. Yeah, that's it.